Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back for another Bloodmoon news video. And today I am breaking in the news that Tobin Bell is confirmed to return as Jigsaw for Saw X. Now, just like I said in the opening of this video, Tobin Bell, who has played John Kramer throughout the first 8 movies, is confirmed to be coming back for the 10th installment in the Saw franchise, and that is with Saw X, as it's being titled right now. And here's what it has to say. Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures are set to begin production on the latest entry in the Saw franchise later this month, and slated for a release date of October 27, 2023. So the film comes out next October. The film will also see the return of not only Tobin Bell as John Kramer, but we'll also see the return of Kevin Gruder back in the director's chair. And for those who don't know, Kevin Gruder is the man who edited the first 5 Saw films. He edited Saw through Saw 5, and he directed Saw 6 and Saw 3D, the final chapter. So he's coming back to the director's chair. And the film is having a script that's being penned by Josh Stolberg and Peter Goldfinger, who wrote the scripts for Jigsaw and Spiral. What do I think of this news? Now, I have known for a while that they were going to be making a new entry into the Saw franchise. Now, what I didn't know was what direction they were going to take it in, who was going to direct it, was it going to be a continuation of Spiral from the Book of Saw, Jigsaw, what, Saw 3D even. There's some good things here. I like the fact that they're bringing back Kevin Gruder, who directed Saw 6, which is probably my 4th favorite entry in the Saw franchise. It was my 3rd favorite entry until Spiral took its place as being my 3rd favorite film in the Saw franchise. And here's the thing, I'm kind of very similar about this news that was when I heard that Darren Lynn Bousman was going to be directing Spiral. Now, because for me, with Darren Lynn Bousman, the last film that Darren Lynn Bousman directed was Saw 4. He directed Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4. And for me, here's the thing, I love Saw 2. Saw 2 is my favorite sequel we ever gotten of the Saw franchise, and still is, even after Spiral. Saw 3 was kind of mixed for me. There were some really good things about it, but then some really awful things about it. And then Saw 4 is honestly my least favorite entry into the Saw franchise. So when he was announced to direct Spiral, I'm like, okay, so are we going to get Saw 2 Darren Lynn Bousman, or are we going to get Saw 4 Darren Lynn Bousman? Because if we get Saw 4 Darren Lynn Bousman, then Spiral's going to be a fucking shit show. But if we get Saw 2 Darren Lynn Bousman, this could be one of the better films of the franchise that we got in a lot. And for me, I felt like we got in Saw 2 Darren Lynn Bousman. I felt like Spiral was a breath of fresh air for the franchise, and I felt like it did a lot of good things for the movie. And I did have some problems overall with Spiral. I honestly personally thought like the twist could have been handled a bit better. Outside of that, those were my only bit of nitpicks with the film. I had a blast with it. Now, in regards to the writers, Josh Stolberg and Peter Goldfinger, again, they wrote Jigsaw, the 2017 film, the 8th movie of the franchise, and I do like Jigsaw. It's a bit lower on my list, but it's not like one of my least favorite entries in the franchise. It is one of the more confusing entries in the franchise, however, with the fact that, essentially, spoiler alert, half of the film is essentially this prequel movie. And because of that, they ended up retconning a lot of stuff. And that was the last film that we saw Tobin Bell as John Kramer. And for me, it just retconned a lot of stuff. And I just didn't really personally care for that. I don't know. On the one hand, I think it is cool that we're going to be seeing Tobin Bell back as Jigsaw, back as John Kramer once again, maybe for one last time. Considering his age, I think Tobin Bell's Tobin Bell is now 80 years old, and I don't think we could keep on having him in the franchise moving forward, especially if they make more movies. For all we know, the dude might not have much time left, so I think they should, if they do bring him back, just make it to be where this is his last time as the character, and then have the franchise try to move on from it. I thought personally that's what they were trying to do, because in Jigsaw, that was the last time we saw of him. No pun intended. Jigsaw was supposedly going to show case, a new killer who was going to take up on the mantle of Jigsaw, although it didn't really pan out too well, in my personal opinion, and a lot of other people's personal opinions as well, because they decided to negate that storyline for the 9th entry with Spiral. But I liked the way they did it in Spiral for the most part, and I liked the actor. I liked, first of all, there was barely any mention of John Kramer. There was some, maybe a name drop of John Kramer, and then you saw a photo of his autopsy from Saw 4 on an evidence board, and that's about it. You get a few name drops, actually, of John Kramer, but that's about it. It mostly focuses on this new killer, which, honestly, who they revealed to be the new killer, I thought they got a good actor to portray this type of character, and I would like to see this actor come back to play the same character and kind of pick up the mantle of the new Jigsaw to kind of take over from Tobin Bell, but it doesn't look like we're going to be getting that, and I don't know. I feel like, because again, if we're doing a film that's focused on Tobin Bell as John Kramer, and you have the writers of Jigsaw, Josh Stolberg, and Peter Goldfinger, that gets me a bit concerned, considering that film had John Kramer in a lot of it, and it was this huge flashback, and it retconned a lot of stuff, and I just wasn't a fan of that. I feel like if they're going to do it this way too, it would be the same way. There'd be more retconning, and that. And from what I heard, apparently Saw X is going to be an origin story for John Kramer, and I'm like, if that is really the direction that they're going with Saw 10, I am personally not a big fan of that direction, considering, again, Jigsaw did that. Half of the film was a damn prequel movie, and it did a lot of retconning. I felt like it was unnecessary, especially since throughout the majority of the franchise, we got a bit hints of his backstory in the original Saw, and then the subsequent sequels just kept on adding on to his backstory. So I felt like it was unnecessary for them to make the 8th film, half of it being a prequel storyline that takes place before the events of the original film. And I feel like this will end up being the same way, if not maybe even more egregious in that regard. And I don't know. I think they should personally do what Spiral did and try to move away from the John Kramer character. Here's the thing. I love John Kramer as a character. I love Tobin Bell's performance. But I don't want to see it be done this way. And I mean, I'll still give the film a chance. Maybe it'll surprise me like a Spiral surprised me. I went into Spiral thinking it was going to suck because of the marketing and that. Maybe this will be the same case too. I go into Saw 10 or Saw X, whatever it ends up being called, and going into it and end up loving the hell out of it. I don't know. But as of right now, I am kind of worried about this film. And I hope it does well. I hope it surprised me. But, I'm just not sure I'm a big fan of this direction. I personally think, they had a good thing going with Spiral. I think, and I feel like the only reason they're bringing back Tobin Bell is because Spiral, even though I love that movie, Spiral is the one Saw film, it's the Saw film that's doing, that grossed the least amount of money out of any of the franchise. It's the least grossing Saw movie to this date, and I think some of that has to do with the fact that it didn't have the star powers of Tobin Bell as Jigsaw, which is a character that a lot of fans go to these movies for. And for me, I think that's probably why. That's one of the reasons why Spiral didn't do so well in the box office. And I think they're just looking at that and being like, we need to bring back Tobin Bell. And I think they're looking at it from a business perspective. I think they're looking at it from a financial perspective. And I'm pretty sure no matter how the film does critically in that, it'll make a lot more money than Spiral did, because of the fact that it would have Tobin Bell as Jigsaw. And probably they'll bring back the Billy puppet, and also, of course, that iconic voice on the tapes. Because of that, I think the film would probably do better overall financially than Spiral. And I feel like that's the only reason why they're like, okay, let's bring Tobin Bell back as Jigsaw, as John Kramer. and I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm for that. So that's it for this bit of news update. Tell me in the comments what you guys personally think of this bit of news. Are you for this direction that they're going to take with Saw X, Saw 10? Are you excited for the next entry that's coming out next year? Honestly, and also too, or are you someone like me who's kind of worried about it, somebody who liked the direction they took with Spiral? Or even if you didn't like what they did with Spiral, are you worried about the direction that they're taking for Saw 10, Saw X, whatever it ends up being called? Tell me in the comments down below, and again, play nice. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It would really help out this channel and help it grow. And thank you guys for watching, and game over.